on message them. But Eric, first of all, we're so grateful for you being on. I told the team what time it was that you were getting up for us. So we seriously appreciate you so much. And so you guys, Eric has so kindly put his hand up to help train us over the next few coming weeks. So for those of you that don't know, Eric is the CEO and creator of Teamzy, which is a system which he'll share more details around. But I've been using this system since 2018. So since when I was like, a senior partner, really fresh in the business. And up until, before I was using this system, it just felt like a hobby. It felt really wishy-washy. I couldn't track my business. And then I got on Teamzy and I was like, okay, I have intention. I know what I'm doing every single day. And when Eric reached out to me wanting to chat, I literally thought his team was trying to reach me and I just thought it was like some marketing stuff. And then he found me a messenger. He's like, no, I've been really trying to reach you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. A CEO of a big CRM system wants to get a hold of us and help us, which is insane. So he's going to be helping us over the next few weeks. He's going to share some information. He'll also be in our group chats as well, helping us, helping you guys, making sure that you guys get the support. So Eric, I'm going to throw it to you.
Thank you so much. Well, I am excited to be here too. And I feel surprisingly awake and alert. So I think this is going to be okay. But I'm excited to be with all of you. And I think, just looking at Bek and how successful she's been in such a short amount of time, I don't want to say it's only because of Teamzy, but I definitely think it was a secret weapon of hers. So now we're ready to share it with you guys. And I know some of you may have seen Teamzy, but what I want to do today is teach you a little bit about Teamzy. I'll show it to you, show you how it works. It's really, really super easy to use, you guys. It's going to make your life so simple. But I also want to teach you a little bit about the system. See, Teamzy is based on a marketing system called relationship marketing. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about that too, so you understand what the software is designed to really help you do and systemize in your business. So first things first, let me get my screen shared here. Oops, it's the wrong screen. Hold on a second. First my microphone, now my screen. Here we go. This is what I want. Okay, you guys see this presentation there? Great. So what I want to talk to you about is how to systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. The idea is you can build a business in less than an hour a day. Okay, less than an hour a day. And one of the things that Bek said was she felt like it was a hobby. Now she feels like it's a business. How many of you are part-time? You've got a job, this is a side hustle, you're busy. That doesn't mean, okay, awesome, perfect. That doesn't mean that this is, just because it's part-time doesn't mean that it is not a business. It doesn't have to be a hobby because it's part-time. You can get organized and serious and focused during that hour or 30 minutes, whatever you have, and build a legit business. Make sense? Okay. Just a little bit about my backstory. I'm not one of those network marketing gurus that you're going to see come, cross their paths. My background's not in direct sales. It is, I do have a background in direct sales. We'll get to that. But my background is as a business coach and consultant. I've been teaching business owners 21 years, actually, how to build relationships-based businesses outside of direct sales. About 7 years ago, I kind of fell into the direct sales industry by accident. Because I started a side hustle on my own, right? And as I started doing it and applying the system I had been teaching for years, it worked really, really well, really quickly. I realized maybe like a month in that I needed a tool, I needed software to help me, right? And every industry that I worked in as a coach and consultant, there was always software, there were always tools that helped business owners leverage their time so they could be efficient, effective. And direct sales didn't have anything. It was crazy. So long story short, we built it and it's just kind of taken off in the last 7 years. Here's my family. So before I get into talking about Teamzy, let me just finish my story. So the concept for me was I had a great job as a consultant. I loved it. I still do it, by the way. It's just kind of like my, I have a consulting company. We do some consulting on the side. It's just for fun now. Thank you, Lord. It's just for fun, right? You can still do what you love, but not be dependent upon it for income, because you can create other sources of income. But my problem was these beautiful people here on the screen were people I never really saw. I was always working, constantly working. I felt like I could never be with my wife or my kids. I used to joke that I only knew my kids in their pajamas, because when I left for work, they were in pajamas. When I came home from work, they were in pajamas, right? And I realized early on that, you know what, I don't want this life. I mean, yes, I want to provide for my family, but I want to be part of their life too, you know? And the direct sales opportunity was a no-brainer, because here was something I could build to create income that would free up my time to be with my family, that would remove the worry of money from my life, right? And also is fun, right? It can be fun. And so as I started building my business on the side, I realized I just didn't have any more time to invest. And that was my main motivator. Oops, I went too far here. That was my main motivator for really building Teamzy, was that I didn't have time. I was already so busy. I needed to be able to get this done in 30, 40 minutes a day. Does this make sense? And so when we built Teamzy, I was the first person to get it. Of course, I got to test it. And another time I'll tell you guys that story. But that first week that I used Teamzy was pretty crazy. I mean, I had like a humongous month in the business. I got a personal note from the CEO of my company congratulating me on my month. And it was literally me just testing the software that I'm going to show you tonight. So pretty cool. But just to kind of give you a little bit of background in Teamzy, in just over 6 years, we've had the opportunity to serve more than 150,000 network marketers, which has been amazing. Teamzy is not a big tech company with massive advertising spends. You know, mostly it's just shared by team leaders who connect to it and say, "Hey, team, check this out." Kind of like what's happening right now, right? I'm cracking myself up because I'm talking to my microphone, which isn't on. I keep going like this. Wait, it's not on. Okay. Also, just to give you an idea, people that are actively using Teamzy, they're averaging 18 customers, and I can't even see what that is. There it is. 18 customers and 12 recruits over 90 days. 18 customers and 12 recruits over 90 days. Those are Juice Plus averages. The overall average for Teamzy is actually 21 customers and 9 recruits. So Juice Plus distributors are doing a little bit better on recruiting with Teamzy, which is pretty cool than industry-wide. Also, we are proud to have been endorsed by Juice Plus. And one thing we'll talk about this at the end. I just want to let you guys know we have the seal of approval from the mothership, and because of that relationship, you have an opportunity to use Teamzy at about 1/3 off the normal price. Okay, all right. Also, I just want to plant your seed right now before we start the training that you guys mark your calendar for the next workshop, which is coming up on Tuesday next. Okay. So make sure you mark your calendars. This is going to be a really good one. Tonight, I'm going to teach you about relationship marketing and how to use Teamzy. But next Tuesday, I'm going to teach you how to create momentum in your business. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to create momentum in your business, which is huge. So make sure you mark your calendar on that. It's going to be really fun. Assuming you have fun tonight, I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so let's talk about relationship marketing. This is a big deal because this term is one of those things that you start to hear a lot, but I don't think most people really understand what it is. I mean, 21 years ago, when I became a business coach, people were like, "You're a what now?" You know, and now it's a normal thing to understand what a business coach is. So same thing with relationship marketing. People throw it around, and I have been to conventions of so many companies where they're like, it's all about relationships. And then what they teach is not about relationships. So let's just get into this, okay? First of all, relationship marketing, it's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. This is super important, you guys, because one of the reasons why our industry has a bad reputation, frankly, and people are jaded and skeptical, is because for so long, this industry has taught people to put the sale ahead of the relationship, right? And so what people feel like is you're just trying to get a sale off them, right? Like you're just painting a target on your back and suddenly your friends are coming after you. We want to reverse that and put the people first and make sure they always feel valued and that we're adding value in their lives. The second piece is this isn't some abstract feel-good concept. Oh, relationship marketing, it's so nice, right? We're going to hold hands and sing kumbaya, right? This is a proven system that we follow. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. How many of you just want me to skip ahead and tell you what to do next? Me too. Me too. This is important though, and I tell people this all the time. I've been teaching this system literally over 20 years, and we haven't missed a meal. It's because it works. It works, right? It works. Okay. Here's a principle I want to share with you, and that's this. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Okay. I want you to think of it like a duty, like we're duty bound, like we take care of our kids. It's our duty. I mean, we love them, but it's also our duty, right? The reason why our focus is on relationships is because we'll turn relationships into advocates. We will turn relationships into advocates. We do it by investing time and providing outstanding service. Advocates are the key to the business. If you're not building advocates, you will be working so hard forever to keep this business going. But when you build advocates, this becomes so much fun. So an advocate, just to kind of clarify the definition, that's just somebody who's so excited about what you're doing that they're compelled to share it with other people. Does it make sense? And here's what I want you guys to understand as we go forward with teaching you about relationship marketing tonight, is that there are people who will not be interested in Juice Plus, who will still be your advocates. And the traditional approach to the business, we toss those people, I'm not interested, see ya, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Those people could be your advocates. And there will be people like that in your life, lots of them, if you're doing this right, who are like, yeah, it's not really for me, but I have to tell you that, oh, you're struggling with this, you should talk to my friend Bek. That's what she does. Like, they will get it. They'll understand the mission you're on, and they will apply it to other people as they're talking to them. Does this make sense? It's like, just to kind of give you guys a quick analogy. Imagine for a second that instead of being your Juice Plus rep, I actually am an electrician, right? How many of you guys have a need right now for an electrician? Does anyone have an electrical problem right now at home? They need an electrician to come over and fix? No. Do you think you might need an electrician at some point? Maybe. Do you think you'll come across somebody who needs an electrician? Absolutely. And so what happens is you're having a conversation. Somebody's like, oh my gosh, my lights are on the fritz. Something's wrong with the wiring. They're going to go, oh my gosh, you need to talk to my friend Eric. He's a master electrician. This is what he does. He solves electrical problems all day long. I'm going to get you in contact with him. That's an advocate. It doesn't mean that right now they see the need for themselves, but they'll still be your advocate. Does this make sense? And as you work relationship marketing, what you guys will create is an army of advocates that will sustain your business. It will mean that you won't have to prospect like a fiend for the rest of your life, right? Your business will be able to grow. Next principle. This is an important one. Relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. I like to say that means that if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. Okay. It's so important. And there's definitely a trend in the direct sales industry in the last 5 years to be a little bit disingenuous. And it's like we're tricking people into being interested. So I just want you guys to understand this system I'm going to teach you tonight. It requires trust, which means, this is the good news, which means you get to be your fully authentic self and never have to do anything that you don't feel good about, right? In fact, we discourage you from doing that. And the best part is this system works better than anything else. So you get to be authentic and it works better. Can I get an amen on that one? Okay, so once people start to trust you, the work becomes fun. It's really fun because you don't have to convince people. You don't have to sell people. You don't have to overcome mountains of objections. You get right to helping them. That's why we're here, right? Also, trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. So when there's trust, you don't have to feel like an icky salesperson. They don't feel icky. You don't feel icky. I don't know about you guys. This is a big deal for me. Like, I don't like that feeling. And then finally, when there's trust, you get to go for yes. You get to go for yes. So rather than going for no, which is, the label they give to the process of just messaging everybody you know and getting heaps of rejection and looking for a yes. With relationship marketing, you're building relationships and you're moving towards yeses with everybody at some level. Maybe you'll be my customer, maybe you'll join my team, maybe you'll be my advocate. In my world, you're going to be one of those three or all. Make sense? Okay. So let me just give you some practical steps for building trust so that you guys understand the basics of the process. There are 4 essential ingredients to building trust. And I'll go through them quickly, and then I'll kind of explain them a little bit, and we'll practice a little with Teamzy. Number 1 is chemistry. Okay, chemistry. Number 2 is character. Character. Number 3 is competence. Okay, competence. And number 4 is consistency. Consistency. Everyone's like, oh shoot. Number 4 is the killer, right? All right, let's get into these. So chemistry is just building a connection with someone. It's just building a connection with someone. Where do you have common ground with them? What is it about you they can relate to? You guys need to understand that people, all things equal, people want to do business with a friend, period. They want to do business with a friend. They want to feel like you're their friend. So you gotta have a connection. They have to want to talk to you, right? So we take a minute to build connection. We learn about them. We ask questions, just be interested. Number 2 is character. It's characters where you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Okay, character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. This is really important, right? It's not just about chemistry, like you're going to manipulate them into liking you, right? You've got to demonstrate your character. They need to know that you care about them. I want you guys to notice something about my definition. You don't actually have character. Character is something you do. Does it make sense? It's something you do. We think of character as kind of, well, if you look at all the things I've done, I'm a person of good character. And people aren't really looking at that as much as they're looking at what you're doing. Right. And so how do you demonstrate your care for people? From how do you, take care of your customers, your follow-up, the way you connect, the way you post on social media, the way you behave out in the world, the way you drive your vehicle, right? Like, are you showing care for others? And people notice these things. The second piece being relatable. This is super important because people need to feel like they relate to you. And this is very important when you use Teamzy for a while and you get really successful and you build a big, fabulous life, you need to stay relatable, right? So people want to drive a Bentley like you, but they don't relate to it. So you have to remember to constantly tell that original story. You got to tell that original story. I'll just tell you a quick story of a friend of mine who's a national marketing director here in the States. She, when I met her, she was a senior sales coordinator, and she's this like amazing force of nature, vibrant, healthy. Like I wouldn't want to be her enemy, right? I'd be afraid she would mess me up. Like she's just a powerful woman. And so her story was, and I knew this, that I knew she was a retired military officer, went to Juice Plus and is, doing her Juice Plus business. She was in one of my boot camps a few years ago, and she and I had a little just talk one-on-one on Zoom, and she was kind of at a plateau. And I said, well, tell me your story. And she said, well, I was in the military. I loved being in the military, but I started getting really sick and I had like a constant fatigue, and it got to the point where I couldn't do my job, and I was discharged from the military on disability because I was too sick to do my job. And then I found Juice Plus and regained my health and my vitality and all. And I said, that's an amazing story. And she's like, yeah. I said that your challenge is you're only presenting your healthy, vibrant self, and you need to tell the story of your sickly self because people can relate to that struggle. And I do believe as she started really sharing her story from a more authentic place, she was just uncomfortable with it. Does it make sense, you guys? It made her feel weak to tell that story, but people started relating to it, and she quickly ranked up and finally got to where she had wanted to be for a long time. So it's really important that not only are you demonstrating your care for people, but that you remain relatable to them. Make sense? Okay, number 3, competence. Competence. This is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. This is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. So, do you know enough about Juice Plus to actually help me with my problem, whatever it may be, right? Are you good at what you do? Do you know how it works, right? Do you know how to put my order in? Do you know when I'm going to get it? Do you know, right? So are you a business person? Like, people need to know you're a business person. You may be working, you might be new to this business and you're talking to your cousin who's seen your pants on backwards at the family wedding, right? And so now it's like you have to show them your business competence. So it's important. So you guys, if you're newer to the business, you need to just put your learning hat on. You need to learn everything there is to learn about this business. When there's a training on products, you need to go to it. You need to be able to speak intelligently about the studies that are done on Juice Plus. All of this makes sense. And if you're new and you don't have the competence, that's okay. Lean into your team and your upline. Lean into your team and your upline and let them know who you're connected to and how amazing they are, just to constantly tell their stories in the beginning. Because what you don't want to do is pretend to be competent when you're not. So forget that fake it till you make it phrase, like forget that, just so you guys know. You don't want to fake anything. You want to, but you can lean into your team and say, hey, I'm part of a winning team. These are the amazing leaders I have. And so I'm one text away from the answer to any question. And when you join me, you're joining them. Does this make sense? Just a little side note on that phrase, fake it till you make it. It's from one of my favorite thought leaders, Zig Ziglar. If you guys haven't connected to any of his stuff, look it up. He's amazing. All about the power of the positive mind. But fake it till you make it was talking about attitude. It was attitude. When your attitude's lousy, pretend it's great and go have a great day, not to be fake. Just so you guys know, because I hear people say, fake it till you make it all the time. Like, go lease yourself that Mercedes you can't afford, drive it around. That's not what we're talking about. Okay. We want to be yourself. Okay. So the second piece of this is the business person. And in addition to being my, helping me with Juice Plus products, do I trust you to mentor me in this business? Do I trust you to mentor me in this business? Again, the key word here is demonstrate. You can be great, you can be competent, but if you're not demonstrating it, people don't know it. This is where social media is such a tool, right? It allows us to tell our story. People are watching it like crazy. This is where you demonstrate little things that you do. And so it could be anything. It could be like, oh my gosh, I just won this really cool Juice Plus water bottle this week because I helped somebody. Little things that show milestones in the business are a big deal. Like I said, especially with friends and family who aren't used to seeing you as a business mogul yet. When you win that free vacation, that's a huge deal for people to see that you're making progress in the business. What I find is that when you start out, a lot of your friends and family, they're just kind of waiting to see if you're actually serious, right? They're waiting to see if you're really going to build this business before they really support it. And that a lot of people kind of stand on the sidelines like that. And so you need to be demonstrating your progress so they go, oh my gosh, yes, look at her. She is confident. Make sense? Maybe I will check out what she's got going on. I do need something in my life. Okay. Real quick principle on this before we get to number 4, and that's this. When people are thinking of doing business with you, they only care about 3 things. 1, can I trust you? 2, do you care about me? And 3, are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? You guys, this is a business principle that is so powerful. And this you'll see where you can kind of see where I'm getting my 4 C's from, right? From this principle. Honestly, people don't care about, what type of soy protein is in the protein shake. They really only care about these 3 things. So can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? When you get objections, it's because they're not positive about all 3 of these. Does this make sense? Which is fine, because objections are somebody telling you, when somebody raises an objection, that's them telling you, I want to do this, but I need more from you, right? So it's a good thing. Objections are a good thing, but you're getting objections because they're not sure of all 3 of these. So this is why we build relationships. As we build relationships and build trust, they're sure of these things. And then it becomes they become a solid advocate. Now, real quick on this. if you look at these three things, if they believe any one of these is a no, they will never do business with you. And not only that, but when one of these is a no, people go out of their way to prevent others from doing business with you. And some of you have done this with other companies or businesses that have wronged you or made you feel like a number, or made you feel like they didn't care about you, right? Or violated your trust, or were just plain incompetent. Don't we go out of our way to protect our friends and family from that? So this is really important. I want you guys to understand in the background of your relationships, you want to build trust. You want them to know how much you care about them. You're going to demonstrate that, and you're going to be showing them how competent you are through your actions. Okay. Number 4. This is where we roll up our sleeves and get to work. Consistency. Consistency. You want to build trust, you got to be consistent, right? I always tell my kids, I have 2 daughters. I have 4 kids, but 2 of them are daughters. I tell my daughters, any man that says, trust me, is not to be trusted, right? Anybody who gets mad at you for not trusting them is not to be trusted. Trust has to be earned. Trust has to be earned. I don't care who you are, you have to earn trust. When you're meeting people, they're not going to trust you. You need to earn it. And you do it by being consistent in your actions. Does this make sense? So consistency is how we build trust. Consistency is actually how we build any sort of success, right? Let me see those beautiful smiles. See, just started by consistently brushing your teeth, right? And so it's so important, you guys. This is the magical thing. Consistency will help you be successful. It will also build trust with people, which helps you be more successful. So the principle here on this one is that people respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. So being consistent, doing the right things consistently help you to be successful in every way, whether it's health, whether it's nutrition, whether it's building your business. But also people watch you being consistent and they want to be around it. It draws people to you. They find it admirable. How many of you have been told that you're inspiring? It's your consistency that's inspiring. People are impressed by it. So consistency becomes part of your attraction marketing, right? Like when you're doing the business, when you're doing things consistently, people see it and they want to be around it. So there's like so many ways being consistent builds the business. So the real question is, are you guys consistent with relationships? I usually ask, do you guys use your Juice Plus? Everybody goes, yeah, I use my Juice Plus. Do you guys post on social media? Yeah, we do that. But really the question that matters is this: are you consistent with your relationships? This is a relationship building business, right? And so what I mean by this is, are you consistent about staying in touch with people, just staying in touch with people as you are about posting on social? Now, for me, for example, when I started my business, it was easier to just post on social media. And in the beginning, I was able to generate a lot of business just for my social media. But what I realized was to sustain the business long-term, you needed to make direct connections and be consistent with it. Make sense, you guys? Okay. Because relationship building is a contact sport. What I mean by that is that you have to be in regular contact with people. That's what you need to be doing if you want to build relationships with them. And I know that your time is scarce, which is why we built Teamzy. I'll show it to you in a second. I mean, honestly, it's there to let you do this in and out with almost no time, right? But before I do that, I want to give you the big principle of the day, which is this: investing time and connecting personally with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting personally with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay, now real quick, let me just stop my share so I can see your faces. Okay, great. And if you're dressed, throw your camera on for a second. All right. I have to throw in the if you're dressed. You know, you guys have done enough Zooms. Okay, so just real quick, a quick example on this important principle. We built Teamzy on this principle, just so you guys know. I want you to think about a time that you received a letter or a card from somebody you love, and it had that handwritten message inside, right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That handwritten message that when you read it, you were like, oh my gosh, you got me right in the heart, right? Can you guys think of a time that you received something like that from somebody you love? Yeah. Now, the second question I have is, now that you're thinking about it, did you keep it? How many of you kept it? Everybody. Okay, who's got like a stash, a pile of cards and letters that you've kept over the years? We all have this, right? And then you move. How many of you have moved houses and moved that stash, not thrown it away? Yeah. You think about it, you're like, do I need these? Yes, I need these. I have to keep these. Isn't it amazing how we treasure those? I mean, they mean so much. And it could be from, it's like I've been married. This is my 15th year of being married. I tell my wife I love her every day. But if I write it in a card, it's like, I'm going to keep that. Like we just treasure it so much. Often when we pass away, our loved ones keep the cards and letters from us long after we're gone, right? It's more treasured than jewelry or things like that that are left behind. It's amazing. Now, how about this? Have you guys ever received something like this? These are like postcards that I got on my birthday. You ever get these? These are from my insurance sales guy, right? So happy birthday, once a year I get a postcard from him. My dentist sends this, right? Do you guys get these from some businesses? Is it nice? Is it a nice thought to get a birthday card from? Yeah, a couple of you are nodding. Not very passionate nods. Okay, how many of you have saved these in that special stash of heartfelt cards? Nobody. Nobody has one of these as the bookmark in the family Bible? No? Okay, see, these don't mean anything to us, right? It's kind of nice, I guess. A couple of you gave me a little half-hearted nod, like, yeah, it's nice to get. But we tend to just put these right in the bin. What's the difference? Now, it comes back to the principle. If you want to build or deepen a relationship, you have to invest time and connect personally. This requires no investment of time, and we know it, right? We know there's no time invested, so we don't value it. The other piece is it's not personal. It's a bulk mail out. In fact, if I turn these over, it says, happy birthday to you, wishing you all the best. Who's you? And then I look at the address and it says Johnson. Is this to which? There's 6 of us in this house. Which one is it, right? It's not personal, requires no investment of time. We put 0 value on it. Does this make sense? I know it makes sense. You guys are like, yeah, this totally makes sense. People understand the value of your time. So, I mean, Beck started this call like, I can't believe Eric's going to do 3 trainings with us because she understands the value of time, right? I'm investing in you guys. I'm hoping to deepen my relationship with this team. Does that make sense? And so when you guys invest, people get it. So I'm not telling you that you need to be writing handwritten notes to people all day long, right? However, if you can think of a reason to handwrite a note to somebody, you always should do it because they'll probably keep it forever, right? They'll probably keep it forever. But even just messaging people personally, not on their wall, not on their feed, but messaging somebody, direct messaging somebody, taking the time out to send them a message. It's like, whoa, that person took the time out to talk to me. Does this make sense? It makes an impact. And I'm going to show you how we built Teamzy to help you individually, personally message people. Because I know you guys would rather have an automated system that just fires it off to everybody. But when you do that, this is how it's received. Does this make sense? And what we need to do is be efficient with our time, but build real relationships, because that's how we create real advocates. Okay. I feel like I drove that point home. Let's go. All right, we're going to get into Teamzy here. So that's just one more time. I just want to throw that principle up one more time, make sure you guys got it. And that's this: investing time and connecting personally with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay. This is all great. How many of you guys so far like the philosophy you're in? You're like, yep, I feel connected to this. I'm resonating with it. But it's more than a philosophy. You need a system. You got to have a system. You've got to have a way to stay in contact with all your relationships. I know it sounds overwhelming even to say that, right? But it's possible. You need to know when you're going to contact them, know what you're going to say to them, and make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. Okay, and make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. In our industry, 80% of the opportunity falls through the cracks. Isn't that crazy? Imagine if I could say, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how to increase your conversions by 80%. You guys going to stay tuned? Yeah. All right. Let's get into Teamzy. Where are you? Here you go. Okay. So first off, I want you guys to know if you're not using Teamzy, You can get a 14-day free trial at teamzy.com/JP. Teamzy.com/JP. Okay. So definitely want to do that. Use it 14 days. You have full access for 14 days. It's not like limited access. So you can get in there and really use it and try it out. And when you log into your free trial, this is what you're going to see. I'm going to walk you through the setup really quickly. It's actually quite easy to set up. But I want you guys to know we have an amazing staff of real live human beings that will help you set it up. Now, I know you're in Australia, so the time zones are a little bit funky, but we can generally figure it out. If you need a one-on-one like hand-holding session, we can do it for you. Okay. So there's a little video from me that I need to look at because by the screenshot's an old one. I need to make sure it's still good, but it's still good. It's me welcoming you. So we'll skip that. The first thing I really want you to see is this page where we set an income goal. We set an income goal. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually tell Teamzy how much you want to be earning. Okay. So you can see my goal is set at 150,000 a year. You can make it higher. You can make it lower. Okay. You just slide the little dot. Now notice what happens as I move this, it changes my daily targets. Remember, this is a system and we can predict the results you get if you apply it. So my goal was 150,000. That means that I need to connect with 9 prospects each day, 5 days a week. Okay. I need to connect with 6 customers and 4 partners on my team each day. So 19 people I'm going to reach out to connect to. I just mean sending them a message, you guys. Okay. And that's my daily target for activity for creating conversations. So we're sending a message. Why? To create a conversation. That's the goal. Okay. So once you got this set to where you want it, you click on continue. What happens is, if you do it faster than that, let me refresh the page. What happens is Teamzy now configures this account to your goal. So each one of you will have a customized dashboard of goals. Makes sense based on your goal. And you can change and update that goal at any time. Now, just real quick, one thing before we move on, I did move on, but before I stop talking about it. If you already have a really great income from your Juice Plus business, when you set your goal, you want to set it for the change. So if you're making, $100,000 a year now, and you want to make $200,000 a year, your goal should be 100,000 in Teamzy. Does this make sense? So it's like the new income you want to create. Okay. The good news is as you build your business and get good at building your business, you actually have to do less than Teamzy because your conversions are higher. That's the little thing. I'll show you that. Well, when we get to Q&A, you guys can ask me. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Next step is you're going to get your contacts into Teamzy. So what we want to do first is get your back office contacts into Teamzy. If you're not sure how to do it, you can click on this and it will give you like a tutorial on how to do your Juice Plus imports. Okay. So pretty simple, but we want to get your, we want to get your team and your customers in first. The reason for that is because they're probably going to be your Facebook friends also. So we want to get them in first from back office. So we get all of the data. Teamzy won't import the same person twice. That's so you don't get a ton of duplicates, right? So we want to get your back office in first. And then if you're using Chrome, like I am to demonstrate, you can actually sync up your Facebook friends just by clicking this button. It's super easy. Okay. And if you're not using Chrome, that's okay. You can actually manually import your Facebook friends, and here's instructions on how to do it. Okay, great. So once you get everybody in, by the way, for me, it's like, I know getting your Facebook friends imported is the easiest way to get running because you've got all these contacts that you're connected to. And now you're systematically connecting and building relationships with them. It's so cool. Okay. And instead of, poking around your phone going, who shall I message today? Who shall I connect with, right? You end up talking to your favorite people over and over and over. So let's get our Teamzy launched. So now that Teamzy's launched, you can see on the dashboard, here are the goals that we set based on that income goal: 9 prospects, 6 customers, 4 partners. And you can see it's all zeros because we haven't done any work. Okay. Now there's a couple other goals on here too. There's one to share. So sharing means sharing the business or sharing a product solution with somebody, right? And the goal is to get to those, but it's not appropriate to just share cold, right? Hey girl, haven't talked to you since, 10 years. Would you like to check out this new business opportunity? And they're going to be like, unfriend, right? So it's not appropriate to do that. We want to build that conversation toward a share where appropriate, right? Sometimes it's one conversation, sometimes it's multiple conversations before we get to the share. So, but the goal is that you're connecting, creating enough conversations daily that you get to a place where you can share consistently. And then I've also got a goal to add new people to Teamzy. So these are just important disciplines on the business: creating conversations, continuing conversations, sharing, adding new people to Teamzy. So those are the daily connects. Now, when you look at the dashboard, Teamzy is focused just on today. So you set a goal for the year, but it's focused on today. That's obviously because we only have today, right? We only have today. Now, here's an important concept. If you want to build a business that's big, how many of you want to build a business that's big? If you want to build it, awesome, good. I'm talking to the right people. If you want to build a business that's big, you need to focus that's small, right? You need a focus that's small. What do I need to get done today? Well, in my case, 9 prospects, 6 customers, 4 partners, share where appropriate, add new people to Teamzy, done. Back with my kids, enjoying my life. Make sense? Okay, let me show you how easy this is. So Teamzy is a type of software called a CRM. Have you guys ever heard of CRM? Some of you may use one at work and hate it. Most people don't like their CRMs because they're annoying. But what a CRM is, it stands for Contact Relationship Manager. And what it does is it keeps track of all your contacts, their information, so that you can find it, you can connect with them. It records your conversations. It's like a giant filing cabinet, right? You know what the name of their dog is, what their favorite coffee drink is, stuff like that. Those are 2 things I always track: coffee drinks and their pets and kids. So, hey, it's huge. You guys know how much it means to somebody if you bring them their favorite coffee drink or have it delivered? Because now you can just order stuff and have it delivered, right? Like $5 and you've made their day for a month. I'm just telling you, just a little secret tip. Okay. So, all right. So where was I? Teamzy does all that boring stuff. It's boring, but important, as they say. But what Teamzy does that's special, that as far as I know, no other system has done, unless they've figured out how to copy us, is it takes that information and it gives you exactly what you need to do with it today, right? So it's like hiring an assistant in your business. So what Teamzy does, and I'm going to scroll down so you can see this section. See where it says Power Hour right here? Teamzy takes all the information you've put in it, and it says, all right, Eric, here's what you need to do today in your Power Hour. Here's who to connect with next. And it gives you these lists up next. So you've got 4 lists: your prospects, your customers, your partners. So I can do my 3 goals. And then I've got my follow-ups list. This is like my hot pipeline of people I've been talking to who are interested, right? So it tells me exactly who to connect with next. So I don't have to go, who shall I reach out to? This also makes sure that nobody falls through the cracks, because the way Teamzy works is everybody that you put in Teamzy cycles through this list. Make sense? But it does it based on the priority you set. And the way we set priority in Teamzy is super easy. We use a 5-star system. You guys are familiar with this. Everything's 5 stars, right? 5 stars are awesome. 1 star, less awesome. And we're going to rank our people 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, etc. And that sets the priority in Teamzy. Okay. A 5-star person is going to come up. You can see my next prospect is Bek. We're going to message her. I'll show you how easy it is. She's 5 stars, which means after I message her, she'll come back on this board in 30 days. I don't have to remember. I don't have to set a follow-up. She's just going to come back in 30 days. Okay. And if she was 4 stars, she'd cycle every 60 days. If she was 3 stars, she'd cycle every 90 days. If she was 2 stars, she'd cycle every 120 days. This makes sense. You want to talk to your best people, the people you like, the people who trust you the most, more often. And the people you don't know that well, if you message them every month, they're going to think you're weird, right? So you're building a relationship with your acquaintances less often, maybe every 3 or 4 months, but you're staying in touch, building that relationship over time. Does this make sense? I always say Teamzy makes sure nobody falls through the cracks, and it keeps you from being a stalker at the same time. So that's something that's really cool. So let me show you how you do a Power Hour. You just log in. By the way, you can use this on your mobile phone. Most of our users are mobile phone all the time. It just, the view will be slightly different, right? If you ever want this view on your phone, you just turn your phone sideways and you'll get this view again. Okay. So the first person on my list is Bek. I'm going to send her a message. This is where people get stuck. What do I send? What do I say? How do I start this conversation? And after we had Teamzy out for about a year, I would do team calls like this, and people would say, oh my gosh, you make it sound so easy, but I never know what to say. So what I did was I put all my scripts into Teamzy for you guys to use. They're there for, even in a free trial, you guys have access to my scripts library. And so if you're stuck on how to start the conversation, you can just go over here to scripts, see right here where it says scripts, and click on it. And then you can grab, a script from an appropriate category. I'm going to message her on Facebook because I think that's the only place we're connected right now. So I'm going to message her there. And then you can just choose one of these scripts. So the first one on the list, connect number 1, it reads like this. It says, "Hi, Jane. Just stopping by to say hello. How are you? Hope your day's awesome." Super simple. Okay, so I'm going to copy that script. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste it in here so I can edit it a little bit, get the name right. Oh, backwards. That was pretty cool. You ever been called Kev? That's what you get when it's 3 a.m. So I'm going to set this up the way you want it, get the name right. I'm going to throw a couple of emojis in. I don't know, whatever you guys, just to kind of personalize a little bit. Computer's a little slow today. There we go. Isn't it amazing that we're talking right now, like literally across the globe? I mean, I know my microphone didn't work, but like still, it's kind of amazing. It's amazing. So, whatever, however you want to personalize this, don't overthink it. Don't spend too much time on this. Time is of the essence, right? We have lives to live. You want to fire this off, but once you have it just the way you want it, we're going to copy that and just go send it in Facebook. You got to copy and paste it only because Facebook doesn't really allow anybody to integrate with it. All right. So let's see here. There she is. And that looks like fun. Is that one of those parties where everybody has the music in their headphones and it's quiet? Yeah, that's cool. I love it. All right. So look, I just pasted it in and sent it. You guys see how easy that is? Like it only takes a second. It's really fast if you're on your mobile because you're just like toggling between the apps, boom, 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 done. And so once it's sent, I'll come over here and I'll actually finish logging it. It was a Facebook message. Click on the big blue log connect button and it's logged. Now see, look, I've got 1 done now. And it's starting to fill in blue. So I'm going to work my way down my list. And what I would do with Tammy is I would just paste that same script and I would change the name to Tammy. Don't overthink it. We're just starting conversations. This makes sense. You don't need to overthink the first message. Now, when they respond, great. Pull up their social media, have an engaging conversation with them. But I don't encourage you guys to spend 15 minutes of research on each person before you message. Just message, okay? Just get them out there. Otherwise, you'll spend too much time on people that may or may not even respond. Make sense? So I'm going to work my way down my list. I'm not going to actually message Tammy because it's 3 a.m, but you get the idea. I would log it, boom, and then it would start going like this. When this circle is all the way blue and I'm done with my goal for prospects for today, I'll toggle over to customers. Now, a little top tip on this is don't jump into the conversation. If they respond immediately, finish your outgoing messages in Teamzy. Just power through. So you get them all sent. Then you can come back and jump back into those chats if they started up. Does this make sense? Because you send one, they respond, you could be off on a chat and then your power hour's over, you talk to one person. We want to create all those conversations so that your pipeline's nice and full. So now when I'm done with prospects, I come to my customer list and I message my customers. Very similar. The goal on messaging is just to make their day. Okay, I want you guys just to write that down. Make their day. That's it. It's not to, oh my gosh, am I going to recruit this person? Is this going to be the one? No, just make their day. Just focus on that. I call it the make someone's day mindset. We used to have t-shirts that said hashtag make someone's day mindset. It was like the longest hashtag ever. It was great. Make someone's day. I want you just to do that. So when we're talking to customers, same thing, just make their day. Just make their day. So we come into Brandy. Let's say you wanted scripts to do that, right? You can come in, you'll see all these scripts are in here again. But here's my favorite one. It literally says, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day, right? These are so great. So we want to connect with our customers. You guys, you don't need to, your connects with customers don't need to be, your Juice Plus ships tomorrow. Would you like to add to your order? I mean, those are important competence type moments, but that's not the only reason to connect. Just connect to make their day. Stay in touch regularly. How many of you have worked in a restaurant or bar? Okay, so these are the people with the advanced sales training, right? The advanced service training. But here's the thing, when you think about great service, a great experience at a great restaurant, They're present. They're just present, right? So what happens is, I come from the restaurant business. Before I became a business coach, I learned my chops in the restaurant business, starting at age 13, working, scrubbing the pots and pans up to running the restaurant, everything. And it's all about being present. The people who had the highest sales were the people who were present. And by their presence and their demeanor, people bought more stuff. They ordered more things. They got more wine. They had dessert. And they enjoyed themselves more. Does this make sense? So what happens when you're present to your customers, when you stay in regular contact with them? I want you guys to understand this. This is statistically true. They'll order more product and they'll retain longer. Your customers will order more product and they will retain longer. Make sense? So the average lifetime value, this is something in business that we calculate. The average lifetime value of your customers goes up. This is huge because if you guys think about your paycheck, it's based on volume, right? So this is team volume. You teach your team members to use Teamzy to stay in touch with their customers, volume goes up. Here's what's going to happen this week, volume's going to go up because a bunch of you are like, this is exciting. I can't wait to try out Teamzy. Volume's going to go up. Why? Because Teamzy is brilliant? No, it's because it's now putting people in front of you and saying, hey, stay in touch with this person. And you're like, okay, I'll do that. And it works. Does it make sense? So when regular contact with customers, they retain longer, they order more products. The other thing is, I just want to throw this out there. Customers that are, I don't remember what Juice Plus calls them. Do you call them inactive or canceled? Canceled. Canceled customers keep on your customer list as active customers. Okay? Because they didn't stop being your customer. They just paused their order. Does it make sense? And those people, and especially with Juice Plus, because they have extra. So it's like, no, I don't need it. I don't need the auto ship right now. I have extra. They're not giving up on Juice Plus in most cases. So just stay in touch with them. And then you'll be surprised how often they'll go, oh my gosh, I've been meaning to tell you, I want to restart my Juice Plus. So stay in touch. My other tip is when it's like the 28th, 29th of the month and you are just short of qualifying, that's when you need to hit all those canceled customers up and just, hey, what's going on? How have you been? How's everything? Because I'm just telling you right now, I've had so many Teamzy users that are like, Bek, I've been using this since 2018. And they're like, I've qualified every month. One of the ways you always make sure you do that is those past customers, they always come back, right? Not every one of them, but out of that group, they'll always come back every month. Some of them will come back. So prospects, customers, the next list, we're going to connect with our partners. This is our team members, obviously, but it's so important to be in touch with your team members regularly. But Eric, I'm already in touch with my team members, or we have a group, or I'm on Zooms with them every Monday night. Remember, time invested, personal connection. You guys remember that? Yeah. So it's so important that we're investing personal time in our team members, especially as the team grows. As the team grows, the value is higher. Wow. I just got a message from Bek, made my day. By the way, this is why my company's called Teamzy, not Leadsy, Salesy, Cheesy. It's Teamzy, because we need to build the team. Our tagline is, build your team, build your business, build your life, right? So the team is the key to everything. And the dirty little secret that is not talked about in our industry is that people quit a lot, right? Have you guys experienced this? The turnover is high. There's probably people on this call thinking about quitting, and they're just kind of like here to see what's up. Maybe there's something good. Hopefully you're going to be excited tonight and we'll change that perspective. But people do quit. And the number one way that we can impact retention is through building relationships with our team. People, I don't know if you guys know this, I've done a lot of research on productivity and motivation, things like that. People really aren't money motivated. I mean, people are motivated because they want to protect themselves and be safe, right? But what increases productivity and motivation, there's two things. The two biggest things are recognition, status recognition. People strive for that, right? And that's why you guys have ranks and awards and all that kind of stuff, right? The other thing is relationship. The second one is relationship. People want to feel connected. They want to feel connected to their leader, to their team. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And so it's so important as leaders that we recognize this. The easiest way is just staying in touch with them, building a relationship with them, right? So Teamzy will help you. Now, if you've got 4 people on your team, you're like, this isn't hard, but I want you to have 5,000 people on your team, right? You won't be in touch with all 5,000 of them, but you will be in touch. If you're using Teamzy, you might be in touch with 500 of them, your leaders, and building that connection, which is really cool. So the first half of the power hour is prospects, customers, partners. Just message whoever's up next. Use my scripts in the beginning until you get good at it yourself and get those conversations started. The second half of the power hour is to work the follow-ups list. And if you look at my follow-ups list right now, you can see there's a little 1. That means I have one that's due. So if you have one that's due, you click on the list and you send it. Now, I'm just going to show you how we get somebody to the follow-ups list. So let me give you an example. So I messaged at the beginning of my power hour, I messaged Bek, just a, hey, how you doing message. And she responds with something like, which would be typical response, was like, hey, Eric, great to hear from you. We're doing great. How are you? Something like that, right? So now what? Well, now I've got a response and there's an opportunity to have a conversation, right? And so depending on the level of your relationship, I just want you guys to know some of these conversations will fizzle out quickly. You didn't do anything wrong. And I always have people going, well, what can I say to resuscitate this conversation? Like, this isn't a CPR class. Like, you made a connect, you made their day. That's a win. They'll cycle back in Teamzy in a couple months. You'll continue the conversation. But a lot of times, if you've got some relationship where they've been following you on social, this is another thing that's really amazing. You may not think there's much relationship, but they follow you on social. They feel like they know you. They want to get right into that conversation. This happens a lot. So if your social media game is on point, you're going to find that people you think you barely know are going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so great to hear from you. And they're right on top of the conversation. Does this make sense? So that's an amazing thing. But so I messaged back, she's like, hey, great to hear from you. So now it's my chance to kind of get in there and maybe try to have a conversation. So I might say something like, oh yeah, things are good here. It's been forever since we talked. Send me an update. What have you guys been up to? Give me an update on what's going on in your life. And that's kind of my go-to thing. Like, give me an update. What have you been up to? Because people understand what to do with that. Does that make sense? People go, oh, okay, I can just do that. It's automatic. Whereas if you go, how have you been? How are you feeling about the situation in the world? I mean, like if you ask a deep question, it's like an awkward silence, right? So just, what have you been up to? Tell me what's going on in your life. And so then what happens is she gives me a little bit of an update. Now I have something to talk about. I can ask questions. I can be interested. I want to listen to her. And honestly, you guys, the goal of this point in the conversation is to find a way to help her. So we want to add value. The goal is to add value. How am I going to help her? So I'm asking her questions. What's going on? Oh my gosh, how's that? And I'm listening, taking notes. I mean, we're chatting. So it's like, you got time to think about what she's saying. She's messaging back and forth, but I'm learning about what's going on, where she struggles, where there's pain points. I'm listening for those things, right? A lot of times, you guys, the absolute best way to understand where somebody needs help is sarcasm. When they make a funny joke or sarcastic or self-deprecating humor, take it seriously. They're telling you something sincere. It's just uncomfortable to get. We don't really get vulnerable with people, so we'll make a joke. So when you take it seriously, it's really meaningful. It makes sense? Like seriously, but all kidding aside, I think, like I just saw on your feed the other day, Beck, you had some before and afters of some of your health transformation, right? For example, this is just an example. So somebody talking to her might be like, oh my gosh, I saw your picture. You're doing great. I need something like that. Ha ha ha. It's like, I totally know how you feel, but if you're serious though, let's talk because I can help you. Makes sense? Like, so you take that awkward moment and you just listen to it and say, no, yeah, but seriously, if you really would like to do something in that area, let's talk. I might be able to help you with it. Different than, well, you should get on Juice Plus, girl. Because that's like a throwaway comment, right? That's like I'm not listening to your needs. I'm telling you mine, which is to sell you this product. Does this make sense, you guys? So yeah, everyone's nodding. You're getting this. Okay. So in my example with Beck, we're chit chatting. She's sending me some things going on with her life. I'm sending her things. We're chit chatting back and forth. Turns out that there was a storm and the roof's leaking and it ruined her favorite sofa. I don't know. And I happen to know a roofing company in her town that's amazing. So I connect them, like just looking for ways to help. Doesn't have to be with Juice Plus. Does this make sense? I can't even tell you how many times I reached out to somebody and they were just having a rough day. And by making their day, it really did make a difference. And letting them know, like, sharing something funny with them or telling them that you're going to pray for them and their family. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, right? So it doesn't have to be Juice Plus, but I want you guys to have that approach. Like, I'm good. My goal is, one, to message them and make their day. And two, if they engage in conversation, to add value. Okay. And so as we're talking and she's giving me an update on her life and I'm interested and I'm learning about her, the next part of the conversation is I'm going to give her an update on my life. This is called the law of reciprocation. If I don't do it, she's going to think that was odd. Why did I talk about myself and he didn't tell me anything, right? So I'm going to give her my update. And people always go, what if they don't ask for it? It's natural. Just do it anyways. Oh, well, let me give you an update on what we've been up to. So here's what we're doing, right? So I would tell her about my family, my kids, whatever's happening, my crazy dog. I have a 1-year-old Rottweiler who's he's my absolute cuddle bug, but he is a mess when he gets hyper. You know how hyper puppies get? When you make them like 90 pounds of solid muscle, then it's crazy. So I'll tell her about all that stuff. That's normal. It's fun. It's sharing what's going on with you. But then I'm also going to tell her about my business. And here's my little tip on this, how to share your business, you guys. The easiest way. So write this down if you're taking notes. Tell them what you do. So I work with Juice Plus. I work with a company called Juice Plus, help people get help, whatever it is. Tell them what you do and why you're passionate about it. What you do and why you're passionate about it. Oh yeah, I started a home-based business. It's been amazing. I help people with, like, every one of you has a reason why you're in Juice Plus, right? So it's like my friend that I was telling you about had chronic fatigue. She might tell that story. If it was my story, it was weight loss. I lost a bunch of weight. Now I help other people do the same. And I absolutely love it. It's been the most rewarding work I've ever done. When you tell somebody what you do and why you're passionate about it, unless they're a total jerk, they will be excited for you. They will be excited for you. They'll be like, good for you. That's great. Good on you. I'm so glad you found something you love. Now, do you see how this approach works? Because I'm not telling it to you so that I can foist it upon you. We're just talking and I'm telling you what I do and why I'm passionate about it. They're like, that's great. Now, what this does is it allows them to receive the information that you are excited and passionate about Juice Plus without being threatened by it. And now it's easy for you to go, yeah, and if you ever like to learn more, just let me know. I'd be happy to get you some info. And it's not high pressure. It's not in their face. You'll be amazed how many people are like, yeah, I would like to learn more. Does it make sense? Okay. Some people will say, great, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Eric. No problem. You know what? You planted the seed. And when next time you talk to them, now what will happen is after this chat, they're going to be all over your social media. They're going to be all over it. They're going to be watching it. They're just going to be interested. Some of them will go dig into it a little bit after that, because people don't just reach out and have conversations with each other. Does this make sense? So they're going to be more interested. Next time you message them, you'll be surprised how much more information they're ready to get from you about the business. So, okay, fast forward, because I know I've been on the call with you guys a bit. She says, yeah, I'd like to learn more. Now what I'm going to try to do is get out of chat and get on a conversation, right? So, hey, are you able to jump on a quick Zoom or FaceTime if I send you a link? We'll talk so we can get off chat and just talk for a couple minutes. And if she is, then we'll jump right on. If not, I'll send her a couple times and we'll make an appointment. The goal though, is to have a real conversation now once there's been some interest. So just kind of give you an idea, that's what I recommend you do. Try to have a real conversation. And then what you're going to do in that conversation is just, again, really listen. Be prepared to ask questions, take some notes, find out what her goals are, what her needs are. And I know that she needs Juice Plus. right? But she has to know she needs Juice Plus before she's ready to accept it. So you got to ask her a question. What's your goal? Okay, great. You want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Oh my gosh, you got a wedding coming up. That's so exciting. Congratulations. When's the wedding? Okay, perfect. And what's the goal? You want to get into a specific size. What are we looking at? Like waist? What are you trying to change physically? So okay, great. So right, like whatever detail, ask details. Are you exercising right now? What kind of exercise do you do? Do you have any injuries? Great. What's your nutrition look like right now? How do you eat? Do you eat out a lot? Do you drink a lot of sodas or sugary drinks or anything like that? Do you drink a lot of alcohol? Okay, I'm just taking notes. Great. Great, perfect. Great. Getting all this information. You know what? Based on everything you're telling me, I really think I can help you. I think that I can really help you with this. So let's talk about what I recommend. So you get to that point after learning. Are you guys with me? This is actually, there's a term for it. It's called prescriptive selling. It's what the greatest salespeople in the world use, doctors and pharmaceutical companies, right? It's what they do. The nurse interviews you, takes questions. The doctor tells you what drugs to buy. You buy them without questioning it. Generally, they're amazing. But this is the same concept. You want to really be educated on what they need, what their needs are, and then understand how to apply the product mix that you have to help them. And so that they understand that rather than just being like, everybody needs Juice Plus. Here's the studies, just read them. It's like, what are you talking about? Right. So that's the idea. So, okay, I went a little bit deeper on that. But the point is as I'm talking to her, she's interested. We have this great Zoom where I present the opportunity to her. I talk to her about the products. Great. How do I log this in Teamzy? Let me just show you really quick. Notice that she's not on my dashboard anymore. So what I'll do is I'll look her up in the lookup bar. Man, I cannot type today. Here we go. That brings me to her contact record in Teamzy. This is where I'll have all of our conversations logged, all her personal details. Any notes I've kept on her are here. I'm going to open up that connect box by clicking on connect. And I'm going to log that we had a video chat, and I'm going to put all the notes from our Zoom in notes. And then I'm going to click right here where it says share. So when I actually make this a share, not just a typical connect, I'm going to move this to business opportunity or products, right? So in this case, it was a product share in the way I did the example. So I'm going to click that I shared products with her, a product solution. And as soon as I make this a share, it turns on the follow-ups list and it defaults it to 2 days from now. So you see that's the follow-up. So if I click on that, I can actually customize it. The default is so you don't accidentally forget to put them on the follow-ups list after doing a share. Makes sense? But I would follow up tomorrow. Okay, and then when I log this connect, I'm going to click hard on that. There it goes. You can see it logged our video chat. All the notes are there, and it set the follow-up for tomorrow. If I go to my dashboard and go to my follow-ups list, you'll see there she is, due tomorrow. Easy, right? Now, what this means is the reason why I put her on my follow-ups list, you guys, even though we had a great conversation, she's super excited. She's like, yeah, totally. I'm going to buy this today. I can't wait. What typically happens? She doesn't, right? In fact, 80% of the time, people don't. So that's why I put her on my follow-ups list while we're talking. I say, hey, you know what? I'm going to check in with you tomorrow back to see if you have any questions. Sound good? She goes, yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So I'll put her on my follow-ups list. I told her I'm going to follow up with her tomorrow. Tomorrow, I keep my promise. I want you guys to understand this about following up. It's keeping a promise. I'll check in tomorrow, see if you have any questions, put her on my follow-ups list. When I do it, I've kept my promise. This is building trust. Sometimes we think following up is annoying because it feels like we're chasing them down to get what we want. But you guys need to understand that we're in the business of helping people. And so when we tell them, I will help you, it means I will follow up. Does this make sense? When you give up on somebody because they're not responding, you're telling them, I didn't actually care about you. Are you with me? So real quick on this, let me show you how to do the follow-up, and then I'm just going to teach you one more thing about the concept of following up. So when it comes to working Teamzy, you come to your follow-ups list. I see I need to follow up with Bek. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to go to scripts. I'm going to get one that's for following up. Look, follow-up number 1. By the way, I have 10 scripts in here for following up, and they're numbered in order. So you send follow-up number 1. Next time you send follow-up number 2. Like, honestly, you guys don't need to think. Just get it into action. So here's the follow-up. It reads, hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions you have for me? Okay. Jane's my avatar. So you'll see her name in scripts a lot. You change it to the right name. And if you, that's why I do the extra step of pasting it in Teamzy first, so I don't send the wrong name. I've done it. Okay. So now I've got this ready to send to her. I'm going to go toggle over here and send it to her. Okay. There's my follow-up. It's sent. I log this in Teamzy. And when you log the connect on a follow-up, it's going to ask you, did this complete the follow-up that you had scheduled? So you leave that checked. But now before I complete it, I'll add another follow-up. Okay. And now let's say I follow up with her on Friday. Okay, great. You can leave yourself a note that it's going to be follow-up 2. By the way, FU2 in my shorthand means follow-up 2. Just clarifying that. Okay. So we're going to create that. And then now when we complete it, it's going to complete today's follow-up, set a new one. Okay. Simple. So now she'll come up again on Friday. And on Friday, I'll come into scripts and I'll send her follow-up 2. Okay. Hey, Beck, just making sure you got my message, checking to see if you have any questions. So we'll continue following up like this. Does this make sense? Now, I want you guys to understand something on follow-ups, and then we'll jump to questions because I know I've kept you on here tonight. But you need to be following up. Typically, 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Between the 7th and 10th follow-up. How many of you are excited to follow up 10 times with people? All right, who's worried that following up that many times you might be annoying? Okay, good. So let me just explain to you guys real quick. I already kind of hinted at this, that following up is keeping a promise, right? But this is really what I think. Following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. If just real quick, by show of hands, let me see your faces again. How many of you are really in this business because you want to help people and you believe you can? Okay, good. How many of you really believe in Juice Plus? You think it's amazing, life-changing? Okay, great. So you're my people, which is great. This system will work for you. It doesn't work for you if you don't believe those things, honestly. But if you believe that, if you believe it's life-changing, you believe you can help people and they're interested, they want it. You guys need to understand that you cannot help them until they get it. Does this make sense? The only thing that you have that you can use to help these people is your ability to follow up with them. That's why I say following up is an act of love. It's the only tool, it's the only thing you can do to love them actively. See, I believe that love's action. It's not a feeling, it's action. It's a decision, right? So my business partner, Mike, he's like, Eric, you need to do a training of all the things you consider an act of love. Because one day we just riffed on my whiteboard and I wrote like 11 things down. Following up is one of them though. It's an act of love. And if you do it right, people will get that. They'll receive that. That's why I always say, I'm gonna check in tomorrow. And then when I do it, say checking in like I promised I would. The first follow-up says, checking in like I promised I would. It cements in their mind that as your friend, I'm gonna do this because I love you. Does this make sense? Not because I need the $23 commission. Just so you guys know, by the way, I've had people that like, you just want to make the sale. And I said, this has been my speech. I'm going to give it to you guys. I go, yeah, honestly, when you buy this product, I'll make $30. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every person who supports my business, how I support my family. But I want you to know that that $30 is not going to change my life. I'm grateful for it, but it's not going to change my life. It might change yours though. It might change your life. And that's why I'm talking to you. Does this make sense? Okay. So following up, quick thing on follow-ups. I want you guys to understand, I'm talking to Beck. She's excited. She's motivated. I'm bragging to the team. Oh my gosh, I could find this great person. She's going to be amazing. And then nothing. I follow up, no response. Follow up again, no response. Follow up again, crickets. You guys, has this ever happened? If this hasn't happened, you're not in the game, right? Follow up again, nothing. Follow up again, nothing. Now what's happening? I'm starting to make up stories. I wonder why she's not responding. Maybe I offended her. Oh, maybe, and you start making up stories. They're not true. Here's what I want you guys to know. The vast majority of people won't even answer your first 6 follow-ups. They love you, they like you, they respect you, they're excited. They're not going to answer those. Why? Their life's just happening, you guys. There's no emotional reason. Their life's just happening. The message comes through, they mean to respond, they put it off for whatever reason. Now, there is a psychological thing that's going on in the background of their mind. I won't get deep into it today, but it just boils down to their subconscious is worried about change. And so it will distract people from taking action on things, which is why following up over time works, because it gets them used to the concept of you being there, right? And then they'll respond. But I just want you guys to know, when you talk to somebody who's interested, 20% of them will convert within 3 follow-ups. That's who you're getting now. The other 80% will take 7 to 10 follow-ups or more. Okay. That's why you need a system like Teamzy. So you're not always thinking about those people. Those people that take 4 months to purchase, you don't want to be thinking about them daily. They're just in team. Let Teamzy think about them. Teamzy will remind you, oh yeah, follow up with that person again. Right. And so you're connecting with people, having conversations. It's all in Teamzy. They can't fall through the cracks. You go here, you see, okay, who's due for follow-ups today? Great. Send them a message, schedule a new one, done. It's put together, it's handled. Does this make sense? What will happen though is people will come back like on the 7th follow-up. Almost always, you guys, seriously, some of you guys are gonna message me like, I can't believe it. Word for word, what you said it would be. They're gonna say, thank you so much for staying in touch. I'm so sorry I haven't responded. I really appreciate you staying in touch. And what they'll do then is they'll unpack all the excuses they gave themselves for not responding. You know, things were crazy. Then we had COVID for the 11th time. And then the dog threw up on the baby. And then, I don't know, that this was happening. And I'm so sorry that I didn't respond, right? And it's kind of like, no problem. I understand, but I'm still here. And let's get you started on those goals we talked about 4 months ago. Does it make sense? And so this is why Teamzy is so powerful, because it gives you that system to stay in touch with people and really build great relationships with them without having to think too much about it, right? You send the messages, boom, 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 boom. You send 19 messages, 10 of them respond. I've got 10 conversations going. Am I sitting here thinking about those other 9 as I'm putting my head on the pillow going, why didn't they respond to me? No, I don't have time for that. I've got 10 chats going on. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Does this make sense? Those people that didn't respond, when they come back on Teamzy in 2 or 3 months, it's like, oh, they didn't respond last time. Let me message them again. Are you with me? Makes sense? Okay, real quick on this. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Where am I? So again, on this, just keep in mind, you got to have a system to do all these things. Give you some action steps really quick. First off, again, go to teamzy.com/JP to get your free trial started. Okay, teamzy.com/JP. If you're already in the trial, you can get your subscription set up so you don't miss a beat when the trial ends. We're an American company, so our pricing's in USD. So you'll see slight fluctuations on your monthly bill. So don't be concerned. That's just the slight fluctuations between our currencies. The way Teamzy's priced is it's $1 a day, so $30 a month for Teamzy. But for Juice Plus, we have a special arrangement to third off. So Juice Plus pricing is $19.95 a month. It's like 63 cents a day or something to have your own assistant in your business, right? And again, that'll I'm not sure what the exchange is today to Australian dollars, but you guys will see that when you do it. But get started on the free trial and fall in love. And then when you love it, you can continue on. It's a no-brainer. I highly recommend you choose a success partner to work with you on Teamzy so that it's not just something you log in once and look at, but look around the team, look around this call and say, hey, you want to do this together? Let's hold each other accountable to really doing this, okay? And of course, Bek and I are working on something special for you guys as far as accountability that we'll talk about more on the next call that I think you guys will love. But in the meantime, we'd love to see you guys getting your account set up, getting in there and just harnessing this power of being able to systematically create these connections, right? Okay, and then I'm going to give you a 5-day challenge. The challenge is over the next 5 days, connect with 100 people. It just means send 100 messages. Okay, send 100 messages, 20 a day, just 20 messages a day. And I don't care which mix, it can be team, it can be customers, it can be prospects, friends, family, whatever. Just message 20 people a day. Use one of my scripts or something like it, just to make someone stay messaged. Don't overthink it, something short and sweet. Why do I want you to do this? It's going to blow your mind. The response you get is going to blow your mind. I always tell people, if you did the 5-day challenge in Teamzy, you will never believe your own BS anymore, right? And you won't believe that the economy's slow or people aren't responding or it's a weird time of year, or any of that stuff that you tell yourself, because your phone's gonna blow up. Your phone's gonna blow up. It's gonna be like literally burning holes in your pocket. Now, real quick on this, just a tip on this. I recommend that you set aside a couple of little blocks of maybe 30 minutes to respond to messages. So like if you do your power hour in the morning, maybe midday, 30 minutes set aside, and then evening, 30 minutes set aside, and return messages then, and just be focused. What I would do is I would sort all my messages by unread, and I would just go down the list and respond to them. And you'd be amazed how many you can send. Otherwise, what may happen is you may be on your phone all day long, which is not what we want. We want with Teamzy for you to be focused and then have your life. Make sense? So you don't have to jump on it immediately to keep the chat going. I don't want you guys to feel like that. If you feel that way, it's because there's not a lot going on now, and you're like, oh my gosh, something's happening. But it's okay to just be like, you message a couple times a day, you keep that chat going. Okay, and just reminder to mark your calendars, because we're going to take what we learned here on the basics of using Teamzy in relationship marketing. And then next week, I'm going to teach you guys deeper on how to create that momentum in the business. So you definitely do not want to miss the next training. Also, not only that, but we are going to introduce something special that we're building just for this team to help you guys get to that momentum. All right, so as far as questions go, any of you still hanging out with me, feel free to unmute, ask away. I'm here to answer any questions that came up. Wow, there's a lot of messages in the chat.
The chat goes wild when we're on here. Looks like we don't have any questions, but everyone is saying thank you. Thank you so much for jumping on and giving us your time. I know I'm so excited to do the 100 conversation challenge, and you guys, whoever completes it, I'm going to send you something special. Okay. So if you do the 100 conversation challenge in the next 5 days, complete it by Sunday, send me a message on Monday morning and I will send you a special little something to congratulate you.
That's pretty sweet. Not only that, but you guys are going to have ridiculous. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the story. For those of you that are still here, for some reason, you're interested in what I have to say. So let me tell you this story. So the first day I had Teamzy, it wasn't as beautiful as it is now. It was kind of clunky, but I had it, and they imported my Facebook in for me, and I was ready to go. I went through and I ranked my people at my 5s and my 4s, and I started connecting. And it was like 5 a.m. I was trying to get it done before my kids woke up. My son at the time was 4 and my daughter was 2. And so, they create a lot of mayhem when they woke up. So I'm trying to get this done, and I start messaging, and this is so fun. This is so easy. I messaged 43 people, and then my son came in and was like, Daddy, and that was the end of it, right? Breakfast time, whatever, 43 people. First power hour, which was probably too many at once. I realized because my response rate, because I started with 5s and 4s, my response rate was 100%. So that first day I had 43 chats going. It was insane, and it was hard to manage. And I lost a few people, but that not for long because they're in Teamzy, right? But there was a couple of chats that kind of died off that I should have kept going. But I had a big month. I had a really big month, and that was a November month, which typically people say here, November's slow because holiday season in the US and stuff. It was a big month, and I got national recognition from the CEO of the company, who was like, he's calling off the names of the top people for the month, and he said Eric Johnson, and I saw him take a double take, like, who the hell is that? Who's Eric Johnson? I was new to the business, like nobody had heard of me. I wasn't known to anybody. He was like, who is that? Like, I saw him just like look at the card, like, Eric Johnson, and I was like, yes. And he sent me a handwritten personal note, which is somewhere here on my desk. My desk is messy, congratulating me. And so like, that was my test of Teamzy, right? So for some of you with this 5-day challenge, it's going to be like that. Now, it won't always be like that, because you have to be able to maintain it, right? So slow and steady, not slow and steady, but the momentum builds over 5 days. You do 15, 20 a day for 5 days. it's a little bit more manageable than having to respond to 43 in one day, right? But I'm here to tell you guys, that's when I knew this was going to be great. And I grabbed the link to the Teamzy. It was a beta test at that point, and I sent it to 20 people I knew and said, check it out. And then that's where we've grown from there. So that's my hope for you, is that you guys have an amazing experience with it. My business grows when your business succeeds. Does that make sense? And so that's my goal, is for you to be successful, for you to be part of our Teamzy family, like Bek, that's just like, yeah, I've been faithfully using this. I mean, we never met, which is amazing. We'd never met. And then when we met, she's like, yeah, I've been using Teamzy for 5 years. It's 4 years, or however long, every week. It's been amazing. And I'm like, I'm so glad we're meeting, right? And it's so cool. And I'm like, well, let's talk about helping your team the same way. So that's why we're here. All right. Makes sense? All right, let me send you guys to bed. Maybe I'll go back to bed too. It's only 4:30. I could probably get a few more hours to sleep, but I'm looking forward to next week. I think you guys will really like it. We're going to get, well, I won't give it away too much. It's going to be good. If you thought this was good, it's going to be really good. So make sure you're there. If there's anyone that was not on this call on your team that needs to be on next week's, make sure you get them there and let them know about it. Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Bek. I have this recording. I will forward off the link to you shortly so you can share it with the team who didn't make it. Good night, everybody.